Welcome back to the All Four Downs podcast. I'm your host, Ovi One, and we are getting ready for the College Football Playoff Committee's first rankings that's going to be happening this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on your ESPN networks. But here I am predicting not only what's going to probably happen on Tuesday, but my thoughts on the top 25 plus much more. Let's get straight to it right now because hey, to better understand what's gonna happen here, the college football playoff selection is gonna have 12 teams. Okay, they'll announce the top 25, but they're also gonna announce the 12 teams that are more likely going to participate in the playoffs. Now, again, the final one will happen after the college football conference championships. So there's plenty of games. We're only 1 month away. However, a lot can still happen. 12 teams will be selected to the playoff field, with the selection committee's five highest ranked conference champions earning an automatic bid. The four highest ranked teams, regardless of what conference they come from, will get a bye. Now, that's something different than last year because remember last year, the top four conference champions had a bye. Now, we also know last year that four teams that had a bye, all four teams lost. So, will it happen again this year? We don't know, but again, something to think about. The inaugural 12-team playoff was in 2024, which is last year, right? And as I I already explained, the highest ranked conference champions were seeded 1 through 4. Not so much right now. Okay, 1 through 4 on the final decision by the college football committee will have a bye. Teams 5 through 12 will play each other in the first round on the home field of the higher ranked team. So 5, 6, 7, and 8, those teams will host their own home game for the playoffs. Now, that is pretty awesome. The quarterfinals and semifinals will rotate amongst the Cotton, Fiesta, Orange, Peach, Rose, and Sugar Bowls. Both semifinals will be played around the New Year's holiday, and the national title game will happen on a Monday night, at least a week later. So, with that, here is the schedule. The first round will start Saturday, December 20th. Location will be at the home fields, right? One game will be on the 19th. Three games will be on the 20th. And other games will be happening. Other bowl games will be happening as well. But keep in mind that the first round will be those days. The quarterfinal sites, well, Cotton Bowl will be New Year's Eve. And then you got the Orange, Rose, and Sugar Bowls that's happening on New Year's Day. The semifinals will happen on the 8th and the 9th. And then the college football national championship game will happen on Monday, January 19th, and it will be in Miami. So, with all that, let's take a look at some of the rankings right here. And I'm going to list them from 20 to 25. Let's go. All right. I have San Diego State, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, SMU, Miami, and Cincinnati. Look, these teams are solid. However, they got a couple of losses here and there, and who knows if any of these teams will be ranked even higher. But for now, Miami suffering their second loss. The way they're playing, I was sold in the first half, but now all of a sudden now we're getting to the meaty part of the season, and Miami's not looking good. Not so much. Vanderbilt, they're looking strong, but I don't think they're that good enough to compete in the college football playoffs yet. But yeah, there you have it. I think out of these teams right now, Georgia Tech seems like the strongest team, but there's more. 15 to 19, Utah, Michigan, Memphis, Iowa, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma had a chance to prove themselves, but once again, they lose two in a row. This time they lost to Ole Miss. So I feel like Oklahoma is out of the equation. But again, there's still plenty of football, but a lot has to happen in front of them for them to at least try to get into the SEC championship. I just don't think that with those two losses, anything's going to happen there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the college football playoff brackets. And once again, you're tuning into All Four Downs podcast. Four Downs and Three Counts production. You can find my website at fourdowns3counts.com. Two teams looking outside right now. I have Pittsburgh and Louisville, both of them in the ACC. But again, outside looking in doesn't guarantee. All right. It doesn't guarantee. And for the most of it, the ACC doesn't look like a conference that are competitive amongst the other Power Four teams, such as the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. My top four teams: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama. I think the AP polls and the coaches polls agreed the same way. How they have it. Will the college football committee go ahead and do the same? The only thing I could see, the only difference I can see here is Indiana and Texas A&M, either one of them be number one. And then as low as number three could go Ohio State, only because of strength of schedule. Texas A&M has the hardest strength of schedule, and they're 8-0. So could that be a factor? I'm just saying. Alabama has shown resilience and perseverance. So I believe that as of right now, they're at 4. But remind you, Ohio State and Indiana are both in the Big Ten. Texas A&M and Alabama are both in the SEC. So I know at least 2 of these teams will not be in the top 4. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else is going on here. I'm going from 5 through 8, which I have Georgia, BYU, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss. Georgia, man, scratching my head sometimes. Georgia is like the NFL's Denver Broncos. They come in the second half or even more. They show up in the fourth quarter and they look unstoppable. But can they play a whole entire game? They've been playing losing throughout the game and then they catch up at the end, which is cool and all. But I just got a feeling that they ain't gonna cut it, especially in the playoffs. All right, BYU quietly moving up. Texas Tech looking strong, but I like Ole Miss out of the top 8. I still feel like Ole Miss is one of the best teams here. Now, what else do I have here? All right, let's go through 9 to 12. I have Notre Dame, Texas, Oregon, and Virginia. Maybe, scratching my head. A lot of people scratching their head like, why'd you pick Notre Dame? I think Notre Dame is competitive now. The first 2 games, not so much, but then again, it's the beginning of the season. What are they looking like right now? I got feeling Notre Dame is going to make a big difference here. Okay. Virginia, number 12, in my opinion, and yet leading the way in the ACC. And then you got Oregon trailing around in the Big Ten. And there is Texas, but is Texas the real deal? Are they now the real deal? And if they are, that will allow Ohio State to look good, right? But there's some rockiness going on in Texas. And yet I still can't wait to see Texas versus Texas A&M and that rivalry towards the end of the season. Okay, so I have that all in play. However, if you're looking at this closely, Oregon would not be in the playoffs. And the reason being is you still need a 5th conference champion to get in. And right now I'm predicting that the American Conference is the 5th conference, the 5th best conference right now. And the fact that Memphis is ranked, that it'll automatically be Memphis occupying the number 12 spot, which pushes Oregon out the way because Virginia is only the ACC team in the top 12. So there you have it. And then looking at the playoff picture, imagine this. While Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Texas A&M are outside waiting for their chance, right, in the quarterfinals. In the first round, imagine having Ole Miss versus Notre Dame, Georgia versus Memphis. You have Texas Tech versus Texas Longhorns. That's a state rivalry right there. And then you have BYU versus Virginia. There's already epic games going on in the first round leading in. And then it begs the question here is that are these 4 teams having a bye week? Will they have an advantage or a disadvantage? That is the question. Okay. Because if the four teams that play in the quarterfinals lose, the top four teams lose, then you expect changes in the playoffs and expansion so that all teams are playing at the same time. I guarantee that's gonna happen. Oh boy. Oh yeah. So again, that is my prediction for the college football playoffs. What's your take on it? What do you think is gonna happen? Who is your top four? Because there's a lot here, right? But stay tuned because I will have my after action review after the announcement of the top 25 and who's all in as of the committee's perspective on the college football playoffs. But for now, that wraps up my episode. Thank you for watching the All Four Downs podcast. Don't forget to follow, share, and drop your top teams and your predictions in the comments below. What is your surprise playoff team? Can Vanderbilt keep the magic going, moving on up? Or is there any other team that can be like a Cinderella team? Anyways, I'll see you next time here on All Four Downs podcast. So thank you. Take care. Have a great week. Oh, yeah.